Hey everyone, Mr. Devil here, Kenny Danico, 3-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils, and you're listening to the Uncle Puckers New Jersey Devils podcast. Let's go Devils!
The Uncle Puckers, Chris and Tim with you. Just for just to make everyone aware, we just finished watching the Devils get beat in overtime. Seems like again by the Maple Leafs. So this is raw. So yeah, this might not be the happiest show ever. But what's up? Wait, please get some better F. What is it? Forwards. That's what I thought. And I'm just
something like it's just what the fuck? We got fucking absolutely caved in. Like
it was bad. It was exactly what we did to them in game 2, except we weren't able to score in overtime.
Yeah. It was just an absolute fucking miracle that we were somehow in that game. Look, they were Marner and Matthews. I felt like they were on the ice the entire fucking game, by the way, for Toronto. Like every time they're just out there again. It's like what are these guys like drinking on the bench? But they're elite players. I get that. But we just let them do whatever they want. Like I don't know if it's intentional, but they're just walking around the zone doing whatever they want. Maybe it's kind of stylistic choice to keep them on the outside and just let them do whatever they wanted on the outside. And I guess there's a little bit of it, but
we
can't get the puck out.
No, we can't get the puck out. Like you said, they do manage to keep a lot of the stuff to the outside and not a lot of high danger stuff, but it doesn't change the fact that, when you get buried back there and you're on the ice a minute and a half, minute 45, it's only a matter of time, that you're going to get scored on. There was just so much about this game. I'm tired of just seeing Jack and Nico on the freaking scoreboard. Where is our depth? I can give a pass to a lot of the guys in the top 6. I will most definitely give a pass to Timo Meier, who does so much when he doesn't have the puck on his stick. And they talked about it a ton. They talk about it a ton on these broadcasts all the time. And they're 100% right. Timo's, doing everything right. Bratt is a fantastic player. I love watching him, but he's got to start burying the puck more. Yeah. I know he's a streaky scorer, but I kind of feel like we haven't, it's all assists. And, where's the streak? I want to see the streak now. Nason not being in the lineup is absolutely hurting. But again, nothing from Palat, nothing from Cotter, nothing from Tatar, nothing. Bastian actually had a decent look today.
I thought Bastian.
I thought that the fourth line played pretty good.
I thought Bastian has been okay. They're I'm looking at Natural Stat Trick right now, just kind of the game report on chances for and chances against, and the Corsi, the goals for, goals against, expected goals. It's just a fucking disaster numbers wise. There isn't a single player that didn't just get their actual fucking shit pumped in. And honestly, we need to change up some lines, I think, and change up some of the deep hairs. Dougie and Dylan are fucking awful together now. Their Corsi was 13%. And their expected goals, both of them, were less than 10%. That's fucking awful. They were just getting
not many. Yeah, you can't make any excuses for tonight. Jacob Markstrom stood on his freaking head again. 40 saves or 39 saves. We're leaving him hanging out to dry, and I feel bad that he gets Nylander on a fucking breakaway in the overtime. And I don't care who you are, Nylander's a fantastic player. He's burying that 90% of the time. Yeah, and right off of where we come in, and Luke hits the puck and post, and Timo just misses on a short side shot, a far side shot rather, and then they come back the other way and they score.
Yeah, and this bad change, and Marner's gonna hit that stretch pass every time. It's good read by Nylander to see them changing and kind of hang like that. But you got to be aware of that in overtime. I don't know what happened to us in overtime. We're just not. We were so good 2 years ago in overtime.
We were so good 2 years ago that last year when we were not a good team, you noticed when we got into overtime, teams when they got the puck, they would just play keep away. They just did whatever they could to make sure we didn't get our hands on the puck. This year, what do we have? One win in overtime?
Yeah, I think so. I think the Islanders game where Jack cut across the middle and beat, was that this season or was that last season?
That was last season, but
Was it?
I think it might have been the Islanders still that we did win in overtime, but or was it? No, it was I think the Islanders. But yeah, I mean, it's just every time we get on the 3-on-3, we seem to make like a stupid mistake, and just no
Goes the
puck
other
luck.
way.
We never should have. The fact that we even got to overtime is a miracle. But I'm sorry, when it was 2-1, that fucking call on Siegenthaler is complete bullshit.
Yeah, that was
For
a bad call.
the second goal. Yeah, you're calling that. I mean, that was a bullshit call, and I don't want to sound like conspiracy theories, but I'm like every time that happens, I'm like that doesn't get called in if it's not in Toronto, But I'm probably just being crazy.
Yeah, look, I've said this before. I think like we can't mistake incompetence for bias or something like that. It's just a
But
bad
it's
call. But and that's the problem though. Of course they're gonna score, on a bad call like that in the third. It just happens. Like
but then you come right back and you get the lead again,
yeah.
and it's like, and I'm watching and we get the lead, and Hischier scores again. And I'm like, man, this is this team, just even though they have no business being in this game, man, they keep fighting back and then they fucking give it up again. It's come on,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, and that was Dougie Dillon, man. So Marner had the puck on the boards, and there's no reason for Dillon to try and ride him over off the boards. And I don't know who the forward was coming back behind Matthews, but like Nico kind of got caught flat-footed there, and
Mm-hmm.
we talked about this with Dan a little bit being the goalie, but Marsham dropped into the reverse VH, and Matthews is a sniper, man. He's like that. I mean, that was a filthy shot. Like I give him credit, but I don't know why Marsham's down on that
He's
before it
the
even goes in.
best. He's
I'm
the
not
best
going to
goal
kill him.
scorer in the league.
Yeah,
And he can put the puck in anywhere on the ice. So I mean, yeah, I know what you're saying, but to me, it's like he'll score if you give him, any
if
amount of space.
Markstrom's up, he's going to shoot low.
Exactly.
There's nothing you can do about it. Like, and I don't even know why I'm bringing up Markstrom. Like, he was a fucking god again in this game. Like, he just needs to go around the locker room and just slap everyone in the fucking face. Like, it's the lack of our scoring. Like, and I told you before. Like, I've been kind of looking at some numbers, trying to figure out what the fuck is going on with this, and most of our like play driving numbers are actually really good. And I think you can kind of see that. Like we're good off the rush. We have some good cycle chances. It's been a little bit off recently, but we've primarily been controlling most games. From a metric perspective, maybe sometimes it doesn't totally line up with the eye test, but expected goals, goal differential, Corsi, Fenwick, even the amount of rebounds that we create, the amount of high danger chances that we create, we're all first or fifth or sixth in all of those, in all situations, and we're like third across the board in 5-on-5. So we're creating.
So what's the
so many
problem?
chances.
Finishing?
The problem is finishing. We don't have any snipers. So like, you saw that chart that we put out that shows the goal differential above expected, basically our finishing falling off a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of league ranks, we're 19th in shooting percentage on shots on goal. We're 20th in shooting percentage on all shot attempts. We're 20th in getting our shots blocked. And we're 19th in shot attempts that miss the net. So our shooting is bad. Like it's
or non-existent. I mean, they're
yeah.
not. They're not. If you're in the bottom, third of of shots on goal and getting shots through stuff like that, it's to me that's you trying to always make the pretty play, trying to instead of like the Carolina Hurricane mantra of just shoot it from everywhere. Like, Sheldon Keefe said it in the last game against them, right? They'll shoot it from the parking lot. That's what they'll do. We don't do that, right? I mean, that's kind of what
it's a little of that. Yeah, it's trying to make maybe make that one extra pass, but shooting wide and shooting high. Like Bratt had a great chance in the third, shoots high. Meyer,
had a couple.
He had a couple good chances, and he ate some pucks in the defensive zone. Had a really good defensive game.
He worked his ass off tonight.
Yeah, he worked his ass off, but man, like it really be great if he would start putting the puck in the net. Like, I know we had one goal called back against the Kings, but we really need him to actually start producing. I know he's tends to score in bunches, and that's kind of what volume shooters do, but we need more from him. We need more from so many people. Like Dawson Mercer is so fucking weak. Like did you see that?
I know the fucking play you're going to talk about.
The clearing attempt where he had no one fucking around him, and he just like passes it right to the point. And Palat did the same fucking thing.
Palat did it from the offensive zone, and it was and Spalding's like puck was intercepted. I'm like, he didn't intercept it, he passed it to him.
Yeah,
There's a big difference.
He was like,
here, it right to him.
The Mercer play drives you nuts, man. And like I saw this in the first period, like first shift of the period. Mercer got pinned on the boards. The guy had him like pinned on the boards. Mercer's feet weren't even on the ground. Like it was like he was like a little kid, just like with his feet like dangling there. Like this motherfucker.
No, I was just going to say there was another play late in the third where it was in our zone. It was behind Markstrom. A Maple Leaf had the puck. I don't know who the forward was, and he was coming in behind Markstrom, and Mercer's on his shoulder, right? Mercer's on his hip. You ride that guy into the fucking boards right there and take the puck away. And he skated right around and made the pass. Mercer barely, like, you are on this guy's hip. You have the position.
Right.
Why are you not ramming him into the boards? Take the play, get him out of the play. And no, he just let him make the play. And it's like, dude, go to the gym, learn how to play a little bit tougher, because really, I'm sorry, but Dawson Mercer has done dick all for this team this year.
He was bad. Lazar was bad. Pesci and
Palat was bad.
Palat was bad. I mean, we don't even need to talk about McDermott. I mean, Bashan, his numbers were bad. I thought he was better, but that's saying a lot. Like when him and Palat came in on a 2-on-1, I fucking laughed to myself. I was like, this is like literally the worst two people aside from McDermott. Tatar was bad. Nico like got caved in, but like at least he put in 2 power play goals, and his first goal was a gorgeous snipe. Yeah, and Jack Abrat did some really good work behind the net to get that puck out to him.
Jack and Nico. I'm just going to say, like, Jack and Nico are never going to be the reason this team loses.
No.
Okay, you can blame Jack Hughes on a bad play in that Ranger game, but at the same time, without Jack Hughes in that game, you don't get to overtime. So let's just start there. Him and Hischier by far every single night they show up and they work. And I'll even say Jesper Bratt works his ass off every night.
Oh, he does.
Not many nights that he takes off.
Bratt was a little bit off today. Like he kind of fumbled the puck a couple times. But he was doing some Bratt things. He had one sick little move where it was right by the side of the cage where he just darted right in front of the net from behind, and then he had that nice little spin move, but
didn't really get him. Move at the same time. You had a lane. All you had to do was cut in front instead of going backwards. Right, but, pull the Jack move and go in front. And make the cut and just get a shot on net. Instead, you try Jack. To me, Jesper Bratt epitomizes what you had just said earlier about trying to make the extra pass all the time. He is on this team he's probably the most prolific guy his one-timer on the power play from the right circle. Like when that puck comes to him now, if nine times out of 10, he's passing it again. He's not taking that
he's
shot.
Passing or he's whipping. I think he's in his head about that shot. Like that little seam pass that Jack used to do to him on the power play was automatic, and now he can't hit it for his life. Honestly, I think we might be time to switch him and Timo on power play 1. I don't know. Like I think they need to switch up some deep pairs. Dougie and Dylan's not working. I think you put Luke and Dougie together, and Dylan.
Do not separate Luke and Pesci.
I don't know what you can do, because Dougie and Dylan, like, we can't keep running them out. We can't. We just can't. Like we need to figure something out. We need to change something up. I love Luke and Pesci together, and I think maybe it's kind of like, let Luke go fly with someone else. But I agree with you, it sucks. But like, I think the only pair we can't break up is Siegenthaler and Kovacevic. Like, they're the only viable defensive pair that we have right now. Pesci and Luke haven't been great recently either.
I mean, if you split them up, it'd have to be Pesci and Hamilton, right? And it'd have to be Luke and Dylan.
I'd put Luke and Dougie together because I think you could just put the gas pedal down with them the whole shift.
I like having that more defensive guy with one of them.
I hear you. I hear you. And but like, look, it's just a suggestion. I could see it the other way around. But I think they just need to make a change, just to make changes. Same with the forward lines that I was talking about a couple weeks ago. Move Brad up with Nico and Meyer. Give Jack a couple of wingers. I have no fucking idea. But I think I'm now back.
Jack? Well, I was going to say Jack with Nason, and I wouldn't mind seeing Jack with Nason and Cotter.
Yeah, sure. I honestly, Cotter, man, he made some fucking terrible decisions tonight. I think he may struggle in like third grade math. Like, he may be one of the dumbest people on the fucking planet. Sorry if you listen to this, Paul. I love you. You're handsome, but you got to fucking.
Let's not.
You got a rock. You got one rock in your head, and it's not fucking rolling downhill.
He's not listening. So yeah, I'll just start there. So yeah, this was a frustrating game. It really was. And they have 2 tough games coming up over the weekend. I mean, there's no rest for the weary here. I mean, they have a Philadelphia Flyer team that is going to work their asses off on Saturday. That they're going to be if you even take half a shift off, they're going to make you pay. Like, you better come to play, and you better take them serious, because they'll beat you.
The Flyers don't fuck around, especially against us. Oh, the other thing about scoring that I did a little math, because that's what I do.
Unlike Cotter, apparently, right?
Yeah, Jesus Christ, he wouldn't get past the third grade spelling bee. Be putting Rurudo up on the board.
So when I title the show, Cotter is a dumb fuck, then maybe he'll listen.
Please don't. Sorry, You're very good and handsome and larger than me. The Devils have 17 goals in total from their defensemen, right? Mm-hmm. Not bad. That's kind of a little bit middle of the pack on the lower end. 3 of those are from Seamus Casey. So actually, our current D pairs only have 14 goals, which is 4th from last. So we are getting fucking 0 production goal-wise from our D core.
So happy you brought this up, because I think on the last show, or maybe it was a show that I did with you, I was like, and I said it, it's like, everyone talks about our depth scoring, and nobody is talking about our lack of defensive scoring. Like, it is, these guys have been invisible all year.
It's not just three of them, aren't ever scoring goals. Siegenthaler, Kovacevic, and Pesci. But and that
even
goes
Dylan,
to Dougie. Yeah,
it really just is Dougie and Luke is where you're looking for your offense.
And Dougie, man, like so Dougie, I was kind of digging into his numbers as well. I told you I did some research. So really, it's actually pretty wild. Like, a lot of his play driving and metrics are almost identical to what they were in 22-23 when he had his 22 goal season. His expected goals, his goals, his even his assists, his shots on goal, his shot attempts, all elite levels within, if not first, he's second or third. Assists, he was 9th.
If you're not first, you're last.
Yeah. I kind of ignored the giveaway numbers because they're a little weird and not necessarily the best to track externally. Like, some of these sites have pretty rough giveaway numbers. All those numbers are almost identical to what they are this year. And do you know what's even funnier? Like, I was like, all right, well, has he lost a step? He's actually, by that NHL Edge tracking data, he's actually faster than he was in 22-23. Like,
so
then he was like, his overall speed, highest speed and speed bursts. He was like below the 50th percentile in all of those in 2020, 22-23. Now he's top skating speed, 75th percentile. Speed burst over 20 miles per hour, below the 50th percentile. But if you look at 18 to 20 mile per hour bursts, he's pretty low. But if you look at, or actually, he's in the 81st percentile. Sorry, but over 22 miles per hour, he's in the 70th. He's not even slow. So the only number that is dramatically different is his actual shooting percentage. So when he scored 22 goals, he had an 8% shooting percentage. The shooting percentage now is 3.7. So it's basically less than half of what it was. And I think that's his torn titty. So that's kind of, I think what's really driving Dougie's goal scoring issues. He's just not scoring. And I don't know. I don't have any information other than that. If he's shooting wide too much or if he's passing up chances. It does seem like on the power play, his shot has totally been de-emphasized. But
he doesn't have it. It just doesn't have it.
Well, even his shot is the same. He hasn't lost any power on his shot.
But why is he not shooting it then?
I don't think he's getting the puck. I think they're concentrating on the power play on working the puck down low a lot more and getting those net front goals from Nason on quick little passes and or sort of working that little triangle game with Brat, Nico, and Nason, or Jack, Nico, and Nason down low, as opposed to working it around up high in the umbrella, which is what they kind of did in 22-23. That's the only thing I could think of. Goaltending or goalie goals, or sorry, defenseman goals can be a little fluky. But I just don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the injury is affecting his shot accuracy, if he's getting robbed. I don't know. I just don't know. But he's shooting half of what he was, and that's killing us.
Well, we're gonna get probably what's his name, Brian Hallinan in on Saturday and Sunday.
Why the fuck do you call this guy up, make him get his passport, get in his fucking car? He probably had to drive from Utica to Toronto. Why the fuck do you do that to this guy? Just have him sit in the press box, then come back?
Because he played yesterday and they made him drive up from Utica to Toronto. So they said, okay, you just sit tonight and you're going to be in on Saturday and Sunday. And that's exactly what happened. It was just because of the time frame. I don't know if he got in late or whatever, but that's why he sat and McDermott was in.
And McDermott is the worst hockey player I've ever seen wear a professional jersey. He is so fucking bad at hockey.
Yeah, he is. And he's had one fight all year. I mean, he's essentially, a cheerleader.
I don't know what he does. It's like, the Office Space. It's like, what is it you say you do around here?
Yeah.
Great. He's there for protection, but do the protecting. Go beat the shit out of Pacioretty like you were supposed to after he fucking, he probably killed Pacioretty. But I'm ranting a little bit, but
no, but it's understandable. And here's the thing, this team is going to make the playoffs.
Yes.
And I was doing a lot of thinking about a conversation that we had on the last show where I had asked you guys, if you're Tom Fitzgerald, do you go all in this year? Or do you actually take a more of a measured approach and say, let me tinker around the edges. I know we're going to make the playoffs, but I don't think this team, even if I swing for the fences, I don't know if this team is a Stanley Cup winning team right now. And then I'm going to get a good feel, and next year make the moves that I got to make, and we're going to make a run for it. And you and Bobby both said you got to swing for the fences. You have to go all in, and because this team does have the core together to make a run. And you don't know what's going to happen with goaltending in another year or two. Like, everything kind of seems to be working out for you to make the moves that you have to make and go for it. And I was unsure about it.
Yes.
And then I was doing some thinking about it over the last couple of days. And I do agree with you. I do think that you have to go after this trade deadline this year as if you are going all in to win the Stanley Cup. Because go ahead.
No, sorry, I interrupted you. I'm
No, it's fine.
thinking too quickly. I look at teams like Vancouver and the Rangers last year, who had a lot of good things, and us 2 years ago. you had a lot of you have to have a lot of things line up well to be a team that goes the distance. You have to have luck, you have to have health, you have to have a lot of things working out for you. You have to have the goaltending. We have a guy that would probably be top 2 or 3 Vezina candidate if it wasn't for Hellebuck. Okay, just make sure people understand what I'm saying. I know Connor Hellebuck's going to win that award, but Markstrom is being fucking lights out. You have to take advantage of that. And I think at this point, I think I kind of know where you were going with this, but I still don't think we have to give up some of our best assets to get the pieces that we need.
No, I wasn't going to go there. We were going to talk about that though, but I wasn't going there. And I was just more curious about like with the issues that we see right now, because even though our defense has been subpar lately and they have been invisible as far as the score sheet go, I don't think anybody says that we need to go and get a defenseman.
Right.
So
and Bobby made a very good point about that. It's like, and defensemen are guys that are usually pretty highly coveted around the trade deadline, particularly depth guys, and I don't think we necessarily need that. I saw a report, and Weeks said it on the ESPN broadcast that like we might be looking at a depth D. I don't know why we would.
I saw a report today on the Toronto defenseman that was like, I forget who it was. 2 guys from the Maple Leafs. One was a depth forward, and the other guy was a defenseman. I'm like, who fucking writes this shit?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I've seen some crazy speculation out there.
Oh yeah, there's been tons of it.
Well, so I'm back to now thinking, you know what? I think we do need a top 6 forward to play with Jack and Brad. I'm kind of getting back into that camp where we can slide Palat down to the third line, get a new third line center, and another wing to replace either Tatar or Bastion on the fourth line. Like I think that's
Okay,
really
now,
kind of where I'm starting to lean.
Brian Hallinan can be one of those guys.
Play him. Like, where can we play him and we find out?
Because I think he can be. I mean, they were talking about his numbers in Utica, and I do not follow the AHL or at all. And he's basically like, I think it was like basically a goal every other game, 60 something goals in 30.
Yeah, I think he has 33 goals and 33 goals and strike that, reverse it. Exactly. 33 goals in 66 games. I saw. Like he's lighting it up. Like he could be like the fucking Capitals, man. Like they keep finding these guys. They just called up a guy named Ethan Frank. Never heard of this motherfucker in my life. Apparently he was undrafted out of Western Michigan University or something. 2 games, he has 2 goals and an assist. It's like, what the fuck? Why can't we find out fucking Ethan Frank?
Right. Well, I mean, we had Seamus Casey. He was kind of doing that early in the year, and I know his warts were showing later on. I understand that, but like we have a lot of talent down there. Like I think it might be time to really start giving some people a chance. I mean, what forwards do we have down there that maybe you can bring up with Jack and Brett?
It could be Hallinan, but I think they would do the sort of old school development model where you call up the guy and you put him on the fourth line. Mm-hmm. But fine, he plays a heavier game too, and can scrap. Fine. Replace Bastion for a game. I don't know. Replace Tatar for a game. I don't know why Tatar's still on this fucking team, man. Like, just wave him.
I didn't know why Tatar came back to this team.
I don't know. I just another black hole of money. Like, I think Fitz overall does a very good job, but I have looked and thought about some of the more questionable decisions he's made. I wrote about in our, that nobody reads about Boquist, scoring against us, like he might actually be like a guy that could be the one that got away, like, I don't know.
He scored on us the last time we played him too.
Yeah. I realize he's built like a popsicle stick, but like, maybe he could be a guy that would have slid in with Jack and Brett. You put 2 Swedes together, who knows? You're fucking speaking their language together on the ice.
I always liked Jesper the Lesser when he was with us. I did. Unfortunate though that it didn't work. All right, so let me throw just a couple of names at you and pick one, okay? And all right, so we keep on hearing Jonathan Taves' name being thrown about. Now, I did see that the 3 teams that are most likely to get him if he decides to come back were Toronto, Winnipeg, and Colorado. Then I saw a whole article how he would fit in great with the Rangers, and all I kept thinking is, yeah, he's going to come out of retirement and not make the playoffs. Sure. So I know that's not going to happen. But let's say, okay, Jonathan Taves, Alex Tuck, Pavel Zacha, Taylor Hall, Brock
Alex.
Nelson. Those are the 5.
Okay. Am I picking one? Am I picking one
Picking
or
one?
Alex Tuck?
One, and where do you put him?
Alex Tuck, put him with Jack and Brett.
Yeah. What do you think you have to give up for Alex Tuck?
Hang on, let me look at his deal. Is he even available though, or is this just a name of a guy that we like? I haven't read much about him being in trade rumors. He's actually got a pretty attractive deal, to be honest.
What is it? It's got like 2 years left, right? At like 5 and change.
Yeah, it's this year, next year. He's the right age, $4.75 million. That's a good deal. Like
he's got a little bit of term.
6'4", 216. He's got some term. He's got some pop. Like, I mean, I'm like unbuttoning my pants just thinking about this guy. He put, 36 goals 2 years ago. He had 22 last year, but Buffalo's Buffalo.
Buffalo has to really decide which direction they're going to go in. Like, are they going to really just try and roll it back with the same fucking dudes every single year? Or are they going to say, hey, we might have to make a hockey trade? And let me just say, if Jesper Boquist lighting it up in Florida is the worst that we have to deal with as far as a guy that got away, could you just imagine how Buffalo looks? Their fans just watching Jack Eichel and Sam Ryan.
Right. Oh my God, man! The amount of guys that they've given up, it's unbelievable.
Bad management. So maybe we can get Alex Tuck.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. So since Alex Tuck, I agree with you. He would be my guy, and that's exactly where I would put him. And I think that
I didn't realize, for some reason, I get him and Cousins confused. I think Dylan Cousins is the guy that has been more out there in sort of the trade circles. But Cousins, his cap hit scares me. They'd have to retain on that. Another interesting guy is Zucker on Buffalo as well. Jason Zucker.
Cousins is also the guy that almost decapitated Hischier. So remember he took that. Yeah. I mean,
sorry. No dickheads.
Yeah, no dickheads. And there you go.
No dickheads.
I mean,
and that's why I still say no on Taves.
Taves is a dickhead?
Jonathan Taves.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Because
I always forget about that.
Chicago rapey stuff.
All right. So Taves is out. How about Taylor Hall? I find that I'm getting more attracted to that by the day.
Hang on. I don't know why I haven't looked at this.
And Taylor Hall, I think you could probably get for like a bag of pucks.
I kind of agree with that. Like the rental sniper type of deal. I kind of look at what we got for Toffoli as somewhat of a benchmarkish type of what we'd have to give up. What was the second and the third, I think?
I don't even know.
Hang on. I'm looking at the one thing, because what I've heard and what I've kind of seen in sort of my peripheral, you kind of scrolling through bullshit and you sort of something absorbs, is that his knees kind of fucked after that surgery and he's lost a step. Last year his skating was brutal.
I bet you he's still faster than Andre Palat.
Probably faster than all of us. Hang on, let me take a look at this year. I'm just looking to see if there's been any trend year over year.
While you look at that,
it's bounced back a little bit. He's not what he once was. I'll put it that way. But speed bursts over 20 miles an hour. He's in the 87th percentile. His top skating speed is in the 71st percentile. So he's still got some wheels. He's got the familiarity with us. I don't know. For some reason, I just I'm averse to bringing guys back in into the
I am
fold.
too. I am
You
too.
know, like
Absolutely.
I feel like it's just such an easy default to be like, let's bring Hall and Paul Mary back, and because we know who those guys are, and there is something to that. There is the familiarity of it. They know where to go. They know how to get to the fucking rink. They know the staff. They know some
Yeah.
of the players that were here. There is something to that, but I just don't know. And based on, I don't know, maybe Taylor Hall, sure. Like I wouldn't if we traded for Taylor Hall and gave up like a third and a fourth or something like that. I'd be like, all right, cool, fine. I think that's good. That's not the guy that I want though. Like Alex Tuck, yeah, I have a hard on for Alex Tuck.
Alex Tuck is a game changer. Alex Tuck
Jared
changes.
Jared McCann in Seattle is another guy that I really like.
I like Jake Evans in Montreal too.
I like Jake Evans. Jake Evans would be that depth third. So like
Yep.
switching gears a little bit. So kind of that top line, top six winger. If it would like Tuck, McCann, Hall, maybe if I were to prioritize.
Right.
I don't know what other kind of guys are out there. Third line center. Ryan O'Reilly is interesting to me.
Ooh.
Because Nashville's so fucking terrible. But there's some word that like they're treating it like he had a no movement clause, so kind of respecting him to trade him where he wants to go.
Okay.
But he'd be the perfect kind of third line center, I think, for what we're looking for. It's also there are two different philosophies of what you do with that third line center. It's are we bringing in a guy to try and help unlock Mercer and Cotter a little bit more offensively, then that's Granlund, or do we bring in a guy that can be a playoff lockdown center, like our next gen John Madden?
Right. Madden.
That's like that. So Nico doesn't have to take that responsibility
Yep.
as much on his shoulders and can be opened up a little bit. So I don't know. So I think those are the two schools of thought. So Granlund and O'Reilly are still my third line. The guy that I've locked in that I hope we get is Trent Frederick for that bottom six winger to replace Bastion or Tatar.
I like that. And
Yeah.
I have one more question for you, and then we're going to dive into the little bit of controversy. But first, playoffs. We're talking about playoffs. You bet we are. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is key to winning in the playoffs, and you can score big by betting them at DraftKings, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. Now I'm gonna do like my quick. Oh shit! It's Jobu. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, go to dkng.co/audio. That's DraftKings Sportsbook. With code THPN, the crown is yours. All right, Jobu.
Wow, you fucking sped read that. That was good.
That was the fine print. All right. There were 3 guys on free agent frenzy that were all rumored to at one point be coming to New Jersey.
Okay.
And all 3 of them ended up signing other places. And my question to you is, I'm going to give you these 3 guys. And is there one of those 3 guys that you wish, knowing what you know about this team now, that you wish did sign? All right. So the first one was Steven Stamkos, who ended up going to Nashville. The second one was Jonathan Marchessault, which ended up going to Nashville. And the third one that we were rumored to get was Jake DeBrusk, who ended up going from Boston to Vancouver. Out of those 3 guys, is there one that you wish would have signed here at all?
Oof. Definitely not Stamkos.
No, I agree.
I think he, and I think we talked about it a little bit, but I just think there's some concerns about him being kind of on the steady decline, particularly from a production perspective. I think most of his points are on the power play.
Look, if Tampa Bay decided that they wanted to go in a different direction with Jake Getzel, I think that kind of tells you all you need to know
Yeah,
about
I agree.
where they thought his production was headed. So yeah,
I
I'm with you
agree.
on that.
Honestly, I bet if you put Marchessault on Jack and Brad's line, they fucking cook people all day long,
Dude, all day long.
I think there is something there with handedness and Jack needing a right-handed sniper to play with, a right shot
Okay.
sniper. If you look at he had Cole Caulfield when he was at the program, they just fucking lit it up together. Realized they were playing against kids and they were like just toying with him. But
Right.
then you look at Jack's probably not his most successful season, but he had a lot of success and was absolutely fucking shredding this league when he had Toffoli on his wing.
Yep.
So I think there's something to be said for that. I think Marchessault would have slid in so nicely there, and he's after hearing several interviews with him, he just seems like he has the right kind of attitude for that. He's not a huge guy, but he plays like a little prick, which I love. DeBrusque is good, but I think if I were to rank them, I'd say Marchessault, DeBrusque, Stamkos.
Yeah, that's where I am, and DeBrusque I think would fit in good there too.
I think it would too. I think DeBrusque is good, and I think he's actually having a very good season in Vancouver.
Yeah, another streaky goal scorer though, being with Brat. That's
Yeah.
the only thing. Is Jack doing everything, or are they not just not that streaky?
We need a
and
guy.
with the
We need a guy like you see like a slow mo video of Patrick Lane just fucking picking corners. Like we need that guy. Like we have good goal scorers, but we have and look, we have 8 guys that have over double digit goals, and we're leading
right,
the league in that. But like we don't have a guy that can just fucking snipe, and we
and that's
have yeah.
no. Go ahead. I just
Yeah, we just
I was.
and they're few and far between. I will say that.
But don't you feel like we kind of do have that guy in Timo Meyer? But why doesn't it work with Jack Hughes? Like
Well,
Timo can be that guy.
Timo isn't a sniper per se. Like what
Got a
Timo
hell of a
does,
shot.
he has got a great shot, but what he does is he's a volume shooter, so he just fucking peppers the net.
Right.
He's like the Carolina Hurricanes as one person.
Yeah, the
So he
shots
just
on
shoots
goal
and he
goal
just shoots and
prop
shoots and
is
shoots and shoots and
huge.
shoots and shoots. And he drives a lot of play doing that, and he's a beast through the neutral zone, as we see. He's a menace in the forecheck. That's kind of he gets most of his goals kind of in tight a little bit. Like he had the puck, he had the game on his stick 2 games ago at the end of the third period, and shot it right into who the fuck did we play 2 games ago?
That was the
I might
Tampa
like
Bay
them.
game.
The Tampa game, yeah. Shot was it Tampa? Yeah, shot right. Was it Tampa?
I'm thinking about it
Right?
now because we just
Do
played.
I?
No, Florida.
Florida. It was Florida. Yes.
It was
Yeah.
Florida.
End of the third, Nico feeds him right in the slot. Team was walking
You
right downhill, and just kind of a pretty easy blocker save for
Spencer Knight.
Spencer Knight. But I feel like a sniper like Nylander tonight, fucking pots
Buries
that goal.
that. All right. Okay. Fair
So
enough.
that's kind of the distinction I think I'm trying to make between like the kind of shooting talent that we have. We have good shooters. We have a couple of guys that could touch 40, but we don't have anyone, that is a lock to get over 40, touch 50 every
Right.
year, or someone that can just like pick corners left and right. Jack's a decent shooter, but he doesn't have like a rocket. Nico's a good shooter. That power play goal he scored today. It's good. Brat can be a good shooter when he's feeling it. Plot's
And
not.
Dougie can be a great shooter too when he's healthy.
When he's healthy.
Yeah.
But like, look, and Luke, Luke hit the post in overtime, so this could have been a totally different conversation.
Absolutely. And I think, Luke, I'm not going to put a lot of blame on. This is his second year. I mean,
Yeah.
and he's already improved leaps and bounds in just his second year. Like the future of Luke Hughes on this team is, and I see a world where Luke Hughes is the backbone of this team well into the future. And, as much as I like in my weird head where I project what the Devils are going to look like, 7-8 years, like Jack
Mhm.
might not be on the team, but Luke will be. Like, in my opinion, like they will build around everything around Luke and Nico in the forward, going forward, as far as
Interesting.
like those permanent pieces on the team, where Jack is just amazing. And at some point, I worry that there's going to be a few franchises come free agency that are just going to throw a shitload of money at him. And he might have to say, yeah, you know what? I have to go to Colorado or I have to go to Edmonton. And that makes me nervous because I don't
Yeah.
ever want him to leave. But at the same time,
Yeah.
when you're that good and you have, but for some reason, those two guys, I think, will get whatever the hell they want and be here for a super long time.
Yeah, I mean, we are still on the upswing. I'm kind of over
Sure.
my anger of the game, and looking at the standings right now, we're still third in the Eastern Conference by points percentage.
Oh, no, I'm not worried about us at all.
I'm not making the playoffs. What I hope to see happen, and I think I said this the last time, is we're understanding what our issues are right now,
That's
and
what you got to do.
honestly, we're getting through a pretty rough time for this team. They still haven't lost a game in regulation in the last 4 or 5 games.
And every good team, if you notice, that have long playoff runs, most of those teams, I shouldn't have said every, but a lot of those teams fall into a little bit of a valley come, game 40 to 60. It's like it's a long season. And that's kind of where we are right now. And you're getting close to getting over the holidays and you're kind of getting back into it, but you still have like the, all-star break / the fantasy 4-way thing going on, and whatever the fuck it's called, the Four Nations face off, coming up, and then the trade deadline coming up and stuff. And then after the trade deadline, those last, 20 games, you see those teams really kick it up to get into playoff form. This is exactly what you just said. This is a good thing as far as looking at the totality of your team and identifying weaknesses. And you give yourself plenty of time until March 7th, where you might have, you're going to look at a dozen different guys that you might think,
Right.
hey, how are they going to work out? And this gives you plenty of time to filter out the ones and make the deal. And I think Tom Fitzgerald is going to make some big deals at the trade deadline.
Let's so the other thing, the other kind of, because our schedule's been pretty weird this year, right?
Yes.
And looking at the top 6 teams in the Eastern Conference, we're now done with Toronto.
Yep.
We're done with Florida. We're done with Tampa. We're done with Washington.
Yep.
So we're done with 4 of those teams. And the 5th team is Carolina. Are we done with Carolina, or do we have one more?
Yeah, no,
we're
done.
Carolina?
4 games. Yep.
So the other top 5 teams in the Eastern Conference, we don't play them again for the rest of the season.
That's right.
The rest of our schedule really kind of lengthens out. We don't have as many back-to-backs. We don't have as many kind of consecutive games against tough teams. We should really ramp up. And I don't think we're going to get the President's Trophy like Bobby still thinks, but
no,
but
I don't think
think
so either.
We should be able to dig ourselves out of this, figure out what our identity is, pick up the pieces at the trade deadline that we need, and really be a force by the time the playoff comes around.
I feel like I feel like we have done nothing this first half of the season than play the top teams. Like, it seems like it's always Carolina, Florida, Tampa.
It's
that's
been a fucking gauntlet. Yeah. Like how many weeks we walked into and be like, oh God, this could go really badly for us.
We
come out fine.
Yeah, you're right. We do. And now it's like we haven't even played Boston yet. We haven't played the Flyers yet. I think only played the Islanders twice. I think we have 2 more against them. We have 1 more against the Rangers. We have a lot of the West Coast teams that haven't been to our barn yet.
Yep.
We haven't seen Vegas yet. I'm really excited to see how we match up against a lot of these teams. I think Colorado, they only came here. We didn't go out there yet, did we?
Fuck, I don't remember. I don't think
remember
we have.
Either.
Do we have one more kind of centralish road trip to do where it's like St. Louis, Colorado, Dallas, maybe Nashville, like those kind of.
Yeah, like we haven't been to Nashville, I don't think. Yeah. There's a lot of games, a lot of teams that we haven't seen yet.
Have we gone to Winnipeg? Have we had our scheduled loss in Winnipeg yet?
No, we played them once in our barn. Okay. We haven't gone up there yet.
Yeah, we may do that because I don't think we played in Minnesota yet. So
we haven't played them at all yet.
Yeah. So we have a couple of those central teams that we still need to play.
Yeah.
and that's a bit of a gauntlet too. But in terms of the 4-point games in the Eastern Conference, like we're done with them,
Yeah.
and we really should be able to build this up. And I think this Four Nations, we only have 4 guys on our team going to Four Nations. That 2-week break is going to be huge for the rest of the team. The only problem is one of our guys going is our fucking amazing starting goalie right now, our number
I
one
know.
center.
Yeah, but is our amazing? I guess is our amazing starting goalie going to be the starter though? I mean,
I think the way he's playing, he should be. Gustafson's kind of
yeah,
fallen off a little bit recently,
that's
but I
true.
don't know. And there's also Allmark in there too. Who knows what
And we have
they may just
3. Hollow's not
rotate
going.
Holla.
Yeah, he's
Oh
hurt. I
yeah,
mean,
he's
was
hurt. He's
he?
hurt.
We don't know if he's going to be playing. I doubt he'll play in it. So,
Fucking keep him, man. Jesus Christ. Like,
can we just send him to Finland? And he
no,
can
do you
stay
know what's
there?
gonna happen? This fucking guy Holla,
I know.
he's had his nagging injuries every goddamn year. He's gonna come back and he's scored like 10 goals in March and April, and we're gonna be like,
No,
oh,
he's
there he
going
is.
to light it up if he plays. He'll light it up in the fantasy fuck 4-way, and then he won't do shit again when he comes
Yeah.
back to New Jersey. It's
That's
like
gonna
he's the
be the most
MVP.
frustrating
Fucking
fucking
Finland
thing.
won the fucking
That's gonna be the
fatal
most
4-way.
frustrating thing.
All right.
I think this tournament is dumb and contrived that the way they're doing it, but I am excited to watch this iteration of Team USA play together.
I am too.
I'm a big fan of international hockey. Like I enjoy this, and
I just hate that Jack Hughes has to share the ice with those mouth breathing Kachuk brothers. Ugh.
Go USA. I love
All
you.
right. Well, before we finish up, and we didn't even talk about the fucking Kachuk hit and stuff, but it's getting late.
Oh,
So
and did you want to talk about Simone?
yeah, I wanted to end with that. So why don't you lay the story out to the audience, and most of them, I'm
Sure.
sure, know exactly what we're talking about, but there's maybe some discontent in Utica.
Yeah, so I think this all a few things kind of came all together today. It was a little bit of a funny day, but I guess there was an interview with a Slovak reporter named Tomáš Prokop, I think his name is,
Sure.
who
We'll call him
basically
Tom.
Tommy Boy. He asked Nemec. He's like, hey, it's kind of like he's sort of Nemec's guy. I think he's like one of the primary reporters in Slovakia, but he basically asked Nemec, was like, do you foresee yourself requesting a trade because of the logjam in Utica and New Jersey? And Nemec said, no, not yet, but I do think I'm an NHL player, and we'll see how that goes in the future. So this guy kind of,
if it
sorry, go
stays
ahead.
like this,
Yeah, something akin to that. He didn't say yes, I'm requesting a trade. Some people kind of
he didn't.
interpreted it like, yes, I'm requesting a trade. The Montreal Canadian fans are like fucking jackals that they are. They're already offering us Josh Anderson again for Simon Nemec, which those motherfuckers are they're some of the dumbest fucking people on the planet, some of those fans. But so I'm of the personal opinion that we absolutely need to hang on to Simon Nemec and let him cook. And if we don't necessarily need the pieces that we need this season, I don't think what Nemec would fetch in a trade we can afford or would even be really available, because I really the type of person I see Nemec getting is like a Brady Kachuk if the Ottawa Senators were doing terribly, or if one of these Pedersen or Miller are actually available. I think there's a lot of smoke around that that's not necessarily all that true. I don't like this chatter, and Spittin' Chicklets actually put out a graphic putting two of his quotes together in the opposite order. The other quote was like, there aren't a lot of second overall picks that are still in the AHL, which is true, but there's a logjam there. The other news that came out to compound this issue was the news that and this has already been kind of reported, it's just sort of being reiterated, that Tom Fitzgerald is now talking to Kovacevic's agent about an extension for him,
which will further delay Simon Nemec's rise into the New Jersey Devils, and it does kind of, for all intents and purposes, seem like he's stuck there. And unless there's an injury, he's stuck there. This is not going to end well. And I mean, for all of our years that we've followed sports, and this is how it starts. He's already disgruntled. He already mentioned that there's not many second round picks that are playing in the NHL.
I don't know if he's disgruntled though. So that's the thing about this interview is it was written. So we don't know what his tone was. We don't know how quickly he responded and was like, no, I'm not requesting a trade yet.
Right. But
we don't know. But he made it clear. He was like, I think I'm an NHL player, and I like that confidence in him.
I do too. But we have to be realistic. How is Shimon Nemec cracking this lineup in the next 3 years?
How many full seasons has Dougie Hamilton played for us?
Okay, I'm not talking about injury. You're right. Of course, anybody can get injured. There's 6 guys that could possibly go down and open up a spot at any given moment for him. I completely agree with you. But if you're looking at a healthy team and Kovacevic gets an extension, and Seamus Casey's still down in the wings, and Silyov still down there. Where does Shimon Nemec fit in this team? I like Shimon Nemec. I want to see Shimon Nemec on with the big club. I mean, the kid had 5 points last night. He's starting to come into his own. He was more highly touted than Luke Hughes. It would be a mistake to trade Shimon Nemec unless it was for somebody like you just said. I mean, if it is a big fucking name, then yeah, maybe you have to make that move. But I just see this ending badly because I honestly don't see what Tom Fitzgerald can say to him to just kind of put his mind at ease that, yeah, you're next in line, man. You're going to be up here. Just continue working. At some point, if he keeps on producing the way he's been the last couple of weeks down there, what do you need me to work on?
That's also
you want me to work on how you want me to get 8 points in a night? Like where at what point am I good enough? Am I, and that's what it's going to come down to. And I don't know what Fitz can say to him to make him at ease, where eventually I do think it does come out. You know what? I need to get out of here, because his agent is probably going to try and force somebody's hand soon, because there's not many second round picks that are sitting in the AHL that are producing, that aren't busts. Not second round, number 2 overall. I mean, this kid is.
I get it. I just I don't see anything wrong. We own his ass. Like, we don't have to fucking trade him anywhere.
Yeah, and but you don't want that in the dressing room. So many times when a player finally comes out and says, I want out, 90% of the time they get shipped out.
Yeah,
that's my only thing.
But again, we don't have to. And if he wants to devalue himself, that
he doesn't give a shit what comes back in return, as long as he's going to get a chance to play.
Yeah, I kind of said that wrong. If he wants to appear to have an attitude issue that nobody wants to get, whatever. I think that's. I think what we should do, and I hate to say this, but I think we should let Kovacevic walk in free agency, and this will still play out over the next couple of months. I don't see either of them, this situation necessarily needing to be dealt with now. I realize there's a sort of trade deadline there that is a bit of a kind of a demarcation point, because there is a third option where if Nemec keeps putting up 5 points a night, then there is a third option where, okay, he's ready. We can actually trade Kovacevic at the deadline and bring in the kind of assets that we need. And Kovacevic will be a fucking incredible piece that people would love, and slide Nemec into a spot.
Right, that's a ballsy move.
Yes, I agree.
That's a
insane.
Ballsy fucking move. That's the kind of move that if it blows up in Fitzgerald's face, that's a fireable. The kind of move that gets GMs. That's
a fireable offense. I agree.
Fucking fired. Yeah,
I agree.
but it's an option. You're right.
Siegenthaler makes $3.4 million through 27-28, right?
Right.
And I think Kovacevic is probably going to be around there, maybe pushing for, tack on a little inflation. I think he's earned that kind of deal, plus being a right shot, which is a pretty valuable commodity. So if you sign Kovacevic to 3 more years through 27-28, yeah, that's a roadblock.
Yeah.
But then I think, honestly, with the way, if Dougie's shooting percentage doesn't get any better and the way he's playing right now, Dougie's 10-team no trade clause kicks in next year. And that seems like more of the natural place for Nemec to replace Dougie. Luke takes power play 1, and you keep Kovacevic and Siegenthaler together. I hate to say that. I love Dougie. I will defend the fucking wall for Dougie. I know he gets a raft of shit from our fan base. Fuck all of you. You don't know what you're talking about. But I love Dougie, but that is kind of the natural thing. Then we also have $9 million to play with on top of that. That can just go to Luke's extension, and then all of our salary cap can be spent on filling the holes that we probably need.
That is the most reasonable, in my opinion, way to go as far as keeping Simone Nemec in this organization. And then you can just tell him, look, next year you're going to get, you're not going to be down there for the whole year. One way or another, if that is like something that's in the back of the head, like, okay, no 10-team no trade clause kicks in, we dump that $9 million, we replace him with Nemec. Hey, why not? I had no problem with that.
And Nemec will be up for the playoffs. He'll be a black ace on the playoff roster. He will be up there. And like I said, knock on wood, one of these guys could get hurt tomorrow.
Right.
You never know.
My whole thing is when you're 20 whatever years old, 21 years old, like he is, you, in my opinion, you haven't earned your right to start saying shit like that. That's the one thing. And you're right. We don't know how the context it was taken in. And it was probably somewhere in the translation, it got fucked up to, us all of a sudden being like, all right, he's disgruntled, where he could have just been like, no, I'm not at that point yet. No. I mean, if things stay like this forever, I mean, yeah, sure. If I'm here 5 years, that could have been the tone. It could have been how he meant it. So yeah, I think we're looking way too much into this.
I took it differently than a lot of people did. And if you ever watch a lot of European soccer players kind of have a sort of frankness, and
Soccer
I feel like
is a stupid sport.
I understand that.
Okay.
I'm not following this. It's whatever I've read other people justify it, and I fucking lash on that because I want to think what I want to think. Is that there's a certain frankness about the back and forth between soccer reporters. There's less rah team and a little bit more like yes, this is what I want to do individually type of thing.
Okay.
And I took it as yeah, I'm aware of the situation. I think I should be in the ANHL because I have confidence and I'm good. But I understand the situation, and I'm not asking for a trade. No, I'm not doing that yet.
I'm with you. I mean, until we hear him say, "I want out of here," then
Yeah, there's a certain objectiveness about the way he answered it, kind of almost like he was talking in the third person. Like yes, this guy is blocked right now. I understand that, but he still needs to grow. He's had a 10-game good run. Like he looked like objective, like he looked fucking like shit at the beginning of this year. Absolutely. Now I think we're starting to understand that was probably kind of due to that injury in the Olympic qualifier. Mm-hmm. He was also playing on his offside with another rookie, and they were just getting absolutely fucking buried. I don't know. It's a very difficult decision. This is why we are fan podcasters and not general managers of hockey teams, because we probably would fuck this all up.
It's very so much easier when you really do just deplete the coffers to the point where you have nothing down in the minors and you can just refill. But when you have a loaded futures like we do, it does make things difficult. And at some point those older guys are going to be moved off of, and it is going to be mostly on defense. Like I want to see a world where Siliev, Hughes, Nemec, and Casey are,
that's our top four.
That's our top
yeah.
four. Like that's what I want. I want to see
And
a world where that
and
happens.
that's the balance, that being a general manager needs to do. His job, Fitz got us to a good point where we are in our competitive window.
Right.
He needs to put us over the top each year, but I think we're seeing teams now not necessarily fully mortgage their future and kind of needing to stay in sort of a perpetual window, and doing so, with that decor. Right now we have the really high end forwards with Nico and Jack and Brad, and and Timo, and that's really a driving force. Now we have a really good defense, but that defense is definitely going to turn over.
Yeah.
Dougie's going to age out of this deal unless he suddenly figures out how to start scoring goals again. Um, because that is really making him barely a net positive these days.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to follow over the course of the next year, and what Tom Fitzgerald decides to do in the next 6 weeks is going to be extremely exciting and going to be a lot of fun to watch because there are a whole lot of there's not a whole lot. The entire Eastern Conference right now is basically in a playoff spot, which is insane. So you have
it's really fucking crazy.
So you have what, like, is it eight what is it, like 10 teams now that are going to be vying for 2 spots essentially.
Like
So
and it depends on kind of like right now looking at this, right? Columbus, Ottawa, Montreal, Boston, Detroit are all 46 to 50 points.
right.
Mostly 44 to 46 games played, kind of in that low to mid 500% winning percentage. The Rangers aren't directly at 500. The Rangers are barely keeping it together. All the rest of the 4, Flyers, Penguins, Islanders, Buffalo, I think write those guys off. So that's yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, everybody though, the problem with when it is this jumbled is everybody going to be a buyer? Does
Yeah,
everybody
exactly.
think they can make it
Exactly.
in and do some damage? And it's like, is that going to devalue some of the bigger guys out there or make them more difficult to get? That's something that's going to be kind of interesting to watch over the next couple of weeks to see what teams really decide, you know what, we're not, going to make, even if we did make the playoffs, we can't go and sell off, like you said, our future. Right now, the Rangers are losing to the Utah Hockey Club at the end of the second, 2-3.
You hate to see it.
Hate to see it. Poor guys.
They're two. So Detroit's been on a tear recently. They're 8-2, right?
Yeah.
Montreal's been on a tear, and Columbus has been on a tear. Ottawa's kind of a little middling, and Boston, I think, is starting to fall.
They're
back
hitting
down
rock bottom.
Detroit's power play, from what I read somewhere, was like clicking at almost 50%.
Yeah,
over this
they've
winning
been
streak.
playing really well
they,
under Todd McClellan.
And they have more power play goals in this winning streak than like a few teams, including the Islanders, too, in the entire season.
The Islanders have 11?
They're so
11
bad.
power play goals? Or 17?
Like that, yeah.
It's something like that.
The Red Wings have 17. I think the Islanders have 11.
11 power play goals.
Their special teams, the Islanders' special teams are historically bad.
You want to hear a crazy stat, and then we're going to wrap it up because it's already getting late. The New York Islanders have 11 power play goals. Sam Reinhart has 5 shorthanded goals. Now, that's just crazy to me.
I have actually a funnier stat that I saw yesterday. That happened yesterday. The Buffalo Sabres are the first team in the era of keeping track of shots. So I think, what was that, 1959, 1960, to score a goal in a period without registering an actual shot on goal.
I saw that with the Ryan McLeod.
Ryan McLeod
getting an empty net, and he's getting his stick shattered. Somebody was like, I don't remember who the defenseman was, but you're not getting that. You're not getting me a fucking negative on this. No,
the beautiful game. I know Brent Burns went full fucking caveman on him.
So yeah, we're gonna wrap this thing up. This was a fun show. I liked talking about a lot of the trades and stuff. And also now we are officially gonna have all this stuff posted up on our YouTube channel. So if you do want to actually watch this please hit the subscribe button. And if you're interested in getting a sticker that looks exactly like our logo there, you can find that on the unclepuckers.com. Go to the contact info and we will send that out to you free of charge, just like the one that Mr. Tim has there. And wherever you are listening to us or watching us, a 5-star review, positive comment. Keep this nice, fun community of Devil fans together. Because you know what? Everything around the outside world sucks. So it's nice that we have this one little thing of that we can all find joy in our lives, even though we find it extremely frustrating on nights like tonight. So we appreciate extremely. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. For Tim, I'm Chris. We are the Uncle Puckers, and we'll see you when we see you.
See you guys. Fuck you, Valcat.